Yes. Shall we start? Today we are going to talk about the topic which is related to your fourth unit, global trends in business and management. And we'll see all this one, what is as per your syllabus. And can you see my screen?
No, sir.
Now it's visible, sir.
Now, what is globalization and what is internationalization, first of all? What is globalization and what is internationalization? Why we have to go for
So globalization is open market system, access to all countries freely from in and from one country. And internationalization is approaching a world market for our own products and services.
So when a country is moving from one country to other country, crossing the borders to five or more countries, what you call as international companies. And when you say when the company is operating, crossing the borders to every country in the world, we call it as a global. And is there a difference between global and international? Is there a difference between global and international? Definitely there will be difference, but we will not see much difference between them. Suppose you take international, so we are now moving to five countries. Like you take our nearest Asian countries. We have South Africa. We have this Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, uh, then Maldives, then you are Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, etc. These are we have one block, a trading block. We call it Asian countries. Now we say SAARC countries and Asian countries. So SAARC countries, we talk about how we are moving. So we have some agendas, we have some functions. According to that function, will make the business. Now we take Asian countries also. We have the same functions, differing with country to country, and we'll do the business. But I'm not the part of a Asian country. I'm not the part of SAARC countries. How can I do the business? You can do the business. The countries which are not in the part of Asian countries or SAARC countries, you can approach the countries. You have a bilateral relation between them, and you move to the countries, one country, two countries, three countries, or five countries. So you can do your business. That we say international. Suppose you want to conquer more countries throughout the world. 180 countries are there, 182 countries are which are recognized as UNO and WTO. So suppose you want to do that business, then we call it as the global countries. But we see according to international and global, there is some differences there where you have to follow the rules and traditions in the global country. Rules are suppose you suppose I say Singapore, China. I cannot do the same ad which I given in India. Suppose I give example for Thumbs Up or Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. Suppose I give the advertisement for Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola meaning in the China language is different. You have to change according to your requirements when you go globally. Suppose internationalization, okay, we can manage with the one which is with the international. Now, when you think this, then how you go for the global? It's not like that I am having more money so I can go and invest in foreign countries. Yes, you can go and invest in foreign countries. Only one thing is you have to see whether it is feasible for you or not feasible for you. So when it's feasible for you, how you make it? Now you have to decide. You see this as deciding organizational structure. What type of structure you have? What type of structure you have? So according to that, you have to make it. Suppose you take a Infosys company. What type of structure you have? What a Tata you have? You have what? Tata is also international. Infosys is also international. Of course, it is Indian company, but operating in multinational companies. So the structure you require, organizational structure, who is the boss, who is the director, who is the CEO, all this one you make it, and selecting a managerial approach, whether it is feasible for you to go for a global market. Okay, 1 or 2 countries, okay, no problem, you can manage, but it is global. So what are the continents you have? According to the continents, you have to make your business. So adjusting the management process, where you have to invest, what you have to produce, how much you have to produce. So learning to handle differences. What is the difference between you, the country, the home country, and domestic country, and the international country, or global country? Guest country and host country. So we talk about whether it's the financial status of the public, or the stability of the government, non-stability of the government, then what you call judiciary laws, business laws we say, and the competition laws, and all this you take the differences, and deciding how to enter in that market. So whether you want to enter into the single hand investment, single company investment, or a multi, or you have a joint venture company with other domestic company and do the business, or do you a partnership with other companies and make it a single company and make it work it. So that strategy is hard to follow, and deciding which market to enter. Whether you want to enter into FMCG product, whether you want to enter into banking or insurance or FMCG or production or operations, whatever maybe, what are the services you'd like to have, then you decide to enter, and then deciding whether it's a go global, whether you go for 1 country, 2 country, then after goes 5 countries, then after go to 10 countries, then go after that successful getting going for a global company. So this is how we talk about the globalization aspect. When you talk about this structure, what are the macros that is impacting on the political risk and impact on the international business? Now, when you talk about the risk, you have a macro risk, we say exploration of the corporate assets without promote. You have to make it your company. You have to promote without any loss. So the impact is loss of future profits and adequate compensation. Now, when you say that, how you promote it? Suppose if I go to any China country, or Singapore, or Malaysia, or Thailand, or America, or US, or Japan, now I have to promote my product. You see that your macro, that is your exploration of the corporate assets, how much you can invest and how much you can make the promotion of that in that country. Suppose it's joint venture, okay, no problem. The domestic country which is having joint venture, that will take care of. And you have to support in the form of the investment. So if any loss is there, you have to make it adequate compensation to them. And we say barriers to repatriation of profit. How you are going to share the profit between the member companies? Whether domestic companies or host countries or guest countries. Suppose if I say Tata AIG is there. Tata is the Indian company and AIG is the American company. Suppose the profit comes, how you share the profits? Between the companies or between the nations? If 2 or 3 companies coming together and forming a big company in one country, then how the profit will be shared? For example, you take the old one, Vespa and LML. Of course, LML is not there now in the market, but Vespa we have. Again, it is re-entered into the market with a company brand we call Ape. So earlier we have LML Vespa scooters. Lohiya Motor Limited of India and Ape from Japan. Now, when you talk about this, so they decided how to distribute the profit because they don't want to become a joint venture now. So they went to international court and asked for the profit sharing. Then the court says because this is an investment made by you, both of you, whatever the profit is there, you share between you, or loss is there shared between you, but it is out of the court. So we can't interfere in this profit sharing because based on your investment, you take the profit, and that court should solve that case should be solved out of the court between you. Because it is between the two companies and the confiscation of the properties. Now, no motivation to improve efficiency or loss of assets and future options. So you say if you are done loss, you cannot be having any profits in that country. Mostly the rules, government rules and regulations. Now we talk about the present Indian government has made a Competition Commission of India, CI, the recently 2024 amendment. Of course, you have a competitive act in India, which is of 2013. That is a MRTP Act has become Monopoly Restricted Trade Act become as a Competition Act in India 2013, and that what it says we are equal to foreign companies are equal to Indian companies. So they have to abide the rules and regulations of the government. And you loss of technology and other intellectual properties. So loss of future profits. Suppose you are using the technology, and if you are some intellectual property rights. Now, when you're doing all this, that will be vested with you, the powers. But when you're going for a global, that will not be, it will be a risk of going the intellectual property rights. Somebody will be copying the product and do modification and do a duplicate product and enter into the international market, like your Samsung and Apple. So they say that Samsung says I invented a Apple phone, smartphone features. Apple says I invented the smartphone features. So one is claiming over the other. And campaign against the foreign goods campaign. So loss of sales and increased cost of public relations. Now that's why when you say when the foreign goods are coming into a domestic company, we see that the cost of the domestic company will the sales will not be growing. Sales will be decreasing. So in that case, what we'll do, we'll make it as anti-dumping duties and make the product equal to the foreign good product, and let the customer will buy the product according to the requirements. So loss of share will be there, and the increasing cost of public relations. So the public will be going from you and going to other company. So mandatory labor legislations, yes, increase operating cost. Now we say mandatory labor legislation, since we have to follow each and every country rules and regulations. Suppose a Tata company operating in America, in Jaguar company, or your Lakshmi Mittal. Tata acquired Lakshmi Mittal company in Luxembourg. So they have to accordingly rules and regulations should be followed according to their country, not India. Suppose you take Indian country. Suppose you take a best example of HSBC company, Hong Kong and Shanghai Corporation Bank of China. We say that they have dismissed our employees from the HSBC Bank during 2020. 15 or 16. So what is the reason? No, you are not working properly. Your absenteeism is there, and they say that your feedback is less. And but how can you say that his feedback is less? To whom did you ask the feedback? How did you measure his performance? Their question comes. So these people went as per the Competition Act, and according to the laws. So you cannot dismiss a labor as you like. You have to follow the rules and regulations, labor laws, banking laws, and you have to terminate them. So at last, what happened? They have accepted their fault with the bank, and they said, "Sorry, we intentionally we made it because they don't want many Indians to be in the bank." Now, civil. Sorry, please. When you talk about civil wars, how are you making the international business? Suppose I say, if I ask you to do business with Russia and Ukraine or Afghanistan or Syria or your Lebanon, this one, Israel, it is not possible because there inconsistencies there between the countries. There is no peace in that country. Every time war. So there will be destruction of the property or loss of sales or increased security cost or disruptive production. And then increasing the operating cost. So inflation may be one which is causing the increasing the operating cost. So raising the prices of their product or services. And when you talk about the currency devaluation, suppose you reduce value of the repatriation earnings. Suppose you talk about any country you are entering, the value of the rupee may be decreased, or the value of that country may be increased or decreased. But when you have to take about the international standard, whether suppose India, we will talk about the rupee value.
அதுதான் இந்த சப்ஜெக்ட்.
Mr. Ara, please switch off your mic.
இது MBA, நான் MBA HR.
This is MBA marketing. So the devaluation will come. So what the government has to do? So you can, if you this type of activities coming, you cannot enter into the market.
The last class. Exam.
Hello, Mr. Arya. Now, when you talk about this, we say that currency devaluation. Suppose the Indian currency is decreased with the dollar value. What do you have to do? There is impact on the international business. You cannot export or you cannot import because we are going to pay balance of payment, more balance of payment to the country. So when you talk about these are the macro factors which are going to make the risk, and the micro risk is there. That is kidnappings, terrorist threats, etc., and productivity. Suppose you take Afghanistan. Our Indian engineers and engineer professors are kidnapped long back in 2021 or somewhere. So why this is required? So this is also one of the political risk we have in the international business. And we talk about the increased taxation. Now reduce it after tax profits. Now when you pay taxes to the government and tax to the nation, so your taxation reduced after profits will be reduced. So official dishonesty, that is operating cost, may be decreasing, but he says it is increasing. So it is one of the criteria to roll back from the foreign countries. So when you go for the nature, so we see this international attacks by the region. You say 1995 to 2000. Okay, this data is only have. So Africa, Asia, Eurasia, Latin America, Middle East, North America, West European. So we having seen that in 1995, West Europe having 272 attacks, and 1996 it is 121 attacks, 97 it is 52 attacks, and Latin America is having in 1997 highest 128. And when you talk about 1998, it is Latin America. Then we say 1999 it is Latin America, and 2000 also Latin America is the highest. For example, you take this African country. What is that? The people will be attacking on the ships. Somalia. In that case, you cannot have any international business with Somalia because there is a what you call there is no food for them. Another one country is like Zaire. So basically, this is one of the attack of international trade terrorist attacks. As of 2000, we have 430. As of 1981, we have 489. 85, we have 635. I think in 2001 only, India, this WTO was attacked. So these are the companies which political risk the scores you have. Hungary is with 78, Korea 76, and we can say where is India here? India is 62 score, and the Pakistan it is 45. So ways of managing political risk for entry strategies. When you talk about this one, we see this. The criteria is avoid investment. Ways of managing political risk. Now, when you say avoid investment means it will be wrong also. So we are getting we got more demand from the foreign countries. So your company is producing the type of product. When you do marketing and you sell the product to international market, you will get the profit. So accept whatever you are going to do with the international sales. Whether you want to do 100% export or 100% import, that will depend upon your company. And we talk about the other one is hire consultants in a country to counter terrorism. Now, you make the consultancy with the people who are in that country and make a study whether it is profitability for you or not profitable for you. You have to enter into that country. Influence local politicians. Now, then we have, like example, you take Adani. He is ruling the world. Now, wherever you go, he is investing. He is having political support in India as well as political support in foreign country also. So in that case, nobody will do anything to that company. So host country has no option. So to invest more, the countries to invite companies to their country, they have to give proper security, proper investment to the guest country. When you're talking to this, what are the entry strategies? And you do with exports and imports, tourism and transportation, performance and services, use of assets, joint ventures, wholly owned subsidiaries. So this is how you are going to enter into this global companies. Export and imports. I do understand with one country or two countries. So I can do export with India with Bangladesh, India with China, India with Russia, India with Ukraine. All these are done only with imports. Suppose Russia wants something from India, means we do export. So of course, import or export is taking place in the country. But only one thing is, we say it is like tourism and transportation is one of the aspect of the export. The people will be coming to the country like India, or will be going to the particular country like America, or Russia, or Ukraine, or Malaysia, or Maldives, or Indonesia. All these are the countries with huge shores. So like holidays, we go and will come for 10 days or 15 days. So, but you're doing the business, tourism business. So other country companies are giving the tourism as a business as a partner. Now then comes your performance of services. Services, Tata, you say, Tata TCS, it is operating in foreign country. Infosys is operating for country. Wipro, it is operating in foreign country. So not only the production software companies, you see that software companies also, some of them are working foreign nationals. And we talk about the use of assets. Now you have assets in America. So use of that assets and do the business there. Anywhere in the country. You have joint ventures. Local people you contact, get a permission from the government. You get sign MOU so that there should not be any deviation when producing the product. So that what you call as joint ventures. So one or two companies you take from the domestic country, make the product to be sold in time. And the last one is how you target the customers. Now this is big agenda for any companies. Now when you're talking about joint ventures, which company you want to make the joint venture? Or which one you make as a subsidiary? So subsidiaries are the one which are having a joint ventures. So joint venture is one you are joining with some 50,000, 60,000 investment and doing the rights of the company and doing the company selling the product to you and you market the product from your store itself. Suppose somebody says, I don't want to export, I want to only the import. You import the product from the domestic company to, foreign company to the domestic company. You should have the right to export and import also to make a tax collection also. Now, when you what about tax collection? So you see that how much tax is collected for sale of one good. What is how much is collected due to sale of foreign goods? So when you talk about this globalization, also called internalizations, as you say that company views the world as one market, minimize the importance of the national boundaries, rather capital and markets, and it can be a job beast. Now, when you talk about this, when you go the specific global companies for 6 characteristics. So how do we manage the domestic companies in international market? So domestic enterprises include industrial country and international enterprises. So you have to plan, organize, lead, and control. So when you talk about this domestic planning and international business, we talk about the international what do you call market, but making the planning, that is screen the environment for the threats and opportunities. So you have to go for the SWOT analysis. So what you are saying, organizing, how you organize is first you have to make the structure, organization structure, view of authority. So who is there in that company? Who is the head of the company or boss of the company? Who is the finance officer? Who is the HR officer? Who is the marketing officer? So if you're going globally or multinationally, you have to see the structure for threats and opportunities. What threat you have from that local market and what threats are there for you after this place when you make the threats and environment. So when you talk about the domestic enterprises, international country, we have to talk about the national market, and if the international, we have to talk about the worldwide market. So organized structure of a domestic operations, whether it is a global structure for its international market. And we say rise of authority. Who is authority you have? You have the same such a domestic operations, the boss will be the authority. But when you take a wireless instant, it is maybe of a internet, you have to, when it is signed, so you have to get the information. And but when you talk about the other one, we talk about staffing, that is sources of managing the target and manager orientation. So they have to make the national labor and other oftenly used with the help of the labor. We say that is national labor pool and a worldwide labor pool geocentric. So your labor is treated as a workman with the labor legislations. So which legislations you make in America and what are the measures you make in domestic. And we say lead and monopolize. So you have to lead the country and you have to say only 2 companies in your class so that you are managing the world class product. So when you are using that, you have to differentiate between these 2 and you have to note of that one. And we talk about this leading companies. When you talk about leading, who is leading? How you lead? So leadership and motivation. So influenced by similar culture. So that you have to follow the culture. In last class also I told you what is a small company or big company, but you have to lead it. And we see that continuum of the lines, that is relatively share and it is networks for long distance, wherever it may be. So you are operating. Suppose you say it is Castrol. It is basically from UK, London. So their headquarters is at UK. But when the problem comes to you, the remote has to come. What after opening the machine only, you will come to know what is the loss in that and how it can be claimed. So that leadership, we are saying that leader and motivation influenced by smaller culture and influenced by different diversified culture in international. So you have different culture will be made in a different companies in the domestic, different in domestic, international, and similarly a little bit of correction in the domestic. As I told you just now, China advertisement will be different for Indian broadcast advertisement, and it will different from the global, that is a network with a long distance. And I will say controlling, that is requesting the system to smaller requisitions. So you cannot go fully lengthy one. So what you want, that's in short, you make it and give it. And when you talk about this Japanese organization and American organization culture, we talk about business culture, lifetime employment in Japan, but in America, short-term employment. And when you talk about this slow evaluation of the promotions in Japan, and no specific career points, and collective decision making in Japan, that is only one criteria that is going to happen in Japan. All will be there for one will be there for all. So government also support this because there is no proper structure for these companies in Japan. It is like a what you call small huts like that. In that only the production will start. And this production, when you talk about Japanese control, we make it as for American operations, we say short-term employment. You for the employment, you go to America for 1 year or 2 years. You have to manage the and we say specialized career path. So whatever you want to do, you can do in America. And individual responsibility and integrated responsibility. So each have to take a individual responsibility, and that is your production. That is your product that you manufacture. So Mohammed, when you talk about individual responsibility across the globe, and we see that. Integrated cooperation. And this is how we talk about the managing domestic. But when you talk of all this, what are the drivers of globalization? Now you may say that developing markets are having a huge markets. And we also see that emerging countries offer a low cost locational advantage. So you are offering the land, the infrastructure for that company, so they'll come and invest in your company. So in India also allows this type of activity for globalization. So any company interested in India, they can enter into India in non-scheme, and they can do the business. Suppose if this what do you call locational advantage. Suppose you are in the center of the city and you are every time busy, so you can have the another services at the center of the city or outskirts of the city or different place. And we see that availability of the services all are the with the proper or not. Now establishing the services, all our services is one that is to be done, and affordable services for all. Services should be all. It's not only one company operating one country. So it can operate in a number of companies which can need as of the hour. Basing on the need, you can make your planning. And another one is firm seek restaurant through promotion. Now when you say when the firm seek promotion, we see this as one of the criteria. So advancement in technology advancement is there, then only go for the globalization. But mostly what you are doing is growing richness, adding a pressure and quality and new products and services. So we are dependent upon other companies. That company will collect all the data and will share to you. And that data can be used for making this domestic company into multinational company. You cannot expect from this type of activity when you're doing the international business. And McKinsey, so when you talk about this elaborative in the following page, the sections, when you talk about McKinsey consultancy firm calculated total pay according to last widget. So how much you can earn for it? How much you can earn for it? How much you can save for it? How much you can save in your account? How much can be done in the international? So tomorrow when you do international business and international marketing, you have to think of what will be the next and what amount you incur for that. And most MNCs are most profitable and developing countries like Vodafone, America firm, and we talk about the cricket is sorry, it is Like we say that example, we can talk about 12% of the return on equity. So this is one of the criteria how the MNC think of. And take the case of General Motors. So due to bankruptcy, what happened? But its employees of the emerging markets are virtually unattracted. So when it is taking the help of the what do you call the profitability, so which is made equal to we see that the emerging markets have been activated like any entertainly further company has more operations in the emerging market. So in fact it is sales increases, or you can say the percentage GDP increases. So this is how these MNCs are going to work for the international market or global market. So particularly force in the BRIC community. So another one is we say many MNCs are loaded with are locating the subsidies at the large way countries to take advantages of lower cost production. Now when you are going for this, so there may be especially the important when labor accounts for a larger proportion, that is a total cost. Now you take many of the Indians going to foreign countries either in search of job or to make the companies, employment in the companies. So what you are going to do? So we talk about this as one of the criteria. Now when you say this is the third one is the changing demographic, which is going to increase globalization. So how it is going to, why you are going is because there is a population increases, so everyone needs one product, so you for globalization. Now what will be the effect of the globalization?
Sir, excuse me, sir. There is nothing in the slides that you have printed.
Yes. That is the last one. This is the last one
Okay. Thank
because
you.
it went automatically. Now, when you say what is the effect of this globalization? When you say that globalization, it is not that much simple. You have to adhere to the rules, regulations, everything. But you have to see that globalization, you say management, then jobs, then wages, women at the workplace, child labor, inequalities, developing countries. So when you say globalization and the jobs resulted in the loss of jobs are created, loss of jobs or created additional jobs. Will you have to create additional jobs or loss of job? Now you see, after January 7th, when this Trump will take the charge of the president of America, what will the fate of the Indian workers in the country? They are saying that 18 lakh people are there. Unauthorized 18 lakh people are working in America. Of course, they are settled for 15-20 years, but unauthorized staying, doing jobs, and they got children also. And how to safeguard them? whether they'll be sending back to India or they will be settled there itself. So instead of getting a job, there will be loss of job in foreign countries if there is a that much say going to Indian experience, employment in the manufacturing organized sector. Now it is decreasing, and we talk about many countries from past year. We say organized sector and lot of employment is there in manufacturing, but decreasing from 1970s to 97s. What happened to 1997, etc.? So we have in 14 point in millions we have 14 millions or 15 millions we have, but people are reducing their companies are reducing the people. So globalization wages we talk about is no doubt resulting shifting jobs at the developing countries. So you can change one company to other company if you like it. What not like India. So India we have the government jobs and the private jobs. In the private you can change, but not in public. So globalization child labor. So child labor is common in all the countries, rich or poor. So International Labour Organization recently estimated the same. 120 million children are in developing countries between the age of 5 and 14. So how to overcome this? So we have Germany come out with a solution called as Rugmark. When you talk about Rugmark, if any child is in the company, Germany will not purchase from that company. To say that there is no child in their company or there no child is working in their company, company has to print with a label called as Rugmark. If you print that Rugmark, then Germany thinks that there is no child labor in that company. So this type of activity is there. Illegally of employing children of only one crime against them. So we have a Child Labor Act. We cannot take children below 14 years into the work and make them to work. If you are making them to work below 14 years, so you will be put behind the bars as per our law. But still we manage. But it is not like international. International definitely follow the rules and regulations and what is the people you have lost in their country and what is that loss they have incurred in their country. So profit and loss that will be waging and you will be seeing. And globalization and women. So mostly women are trapped here. So we say we will give job in foreign countries, means every woman will go. But after going, they will become slaves. So there is no food for them, there is no rest for them, there is no shelter for them sometimes. There is no security for them. So this is what is happening in the world where you talk about all over the world, high discriminating the method against them. Some statistics are worth recollecting the support of the assertion. So 70% are the men. So 1.3 billion poor people are working. And 70% are women. And we see this, another one, the second migration of the women, which is a search of employment opportunities with the burden of poverty. So because of the poverty, our people are going to them or any other company people are going. And inequalities are there. The one we can say it is women are among the first to feel the negative impact on the preference of the multinational corporations. So MNCs dismantle the local economies and mine natural resources needed by local and regional communities. So what they'll say, they say these are the our people, these are the our people, these are the resources. So what they'll do, they mitigate and make them break of the consequences. And they create the inequalities by international business, which is inequality of the income with within nations and between the national and global. Suppose if you take America, white and black is there. So white people, they'll have more money, salaries, but where they don't have high money or more money as a salary to the good one for black people. So they'll say, because you are red, you are white, so you are given more salary. You are red, you given. It is not like that. They are not directly saying. It's not on compensation or production, etc. The rare you are saying is country, area, state, etc. They'll see and apply. I think we talk about the inequalities within the country takes into account the income distribution within the countries. So the inequality should not be there whether it is a domestic country or international country. So when you talk about the globalization in the developing countries, poverty seeks for everything: literacy, malnutrition, drinking water, scarcity, and lack of sanitation and health facilities are the one which is going to make the use of developing countries. And what you are talking about, the players in international business, we say. So MNC is an organization. MNC is a company. MNC is an organization that encourages in production or services activities. Whether you are going to produce the product or make the service of the company, and whether you have a what do you call through its several countries and maintain recording over the policies of these affiliates and manage for a global perspective. So you see that you manage the people, you manage the worker, you manage the working conditions. So this way we can go for a globalization. Now, what is the goal for this MNCs we take? Now, how many Indian companies are there in globally or internationally? We say Tata Motor, Tata Steels, Hindalco Industries, TCS, Infosys, Airtel, ONGC, Videshi, HCL, Suzlon Energy, Tata Communication, Mothers, Sumi Systems, DRL, Punj Lloyds, Tata Global Beverages, Tata Chemicals, Jubilant Life Services. So we have 3 or more companies which is added to India right now. Because of the COVID, there are a lot of development and development changes are there in the Indian market as well as globally or internationally. Now the goals of the MNCs are one you can say as a mission. We see that console your so you follow that goals of MNCs as a subsidiaries. Manufacture in the countries where where it finds greatest competition and advantage. Where the competition is there, in that place you make the production. And we also see that take advantage throughout the world changes in labor cost, productivity, trade agreements, and currency fluctuations. You take about the charges of your service operations, how much time it will take, how much duration take, how much cost is increased. And other one is achieve greater souls. You have to achieve your souls. And you say motivation control of implementation of the cost. So when your motivation is there, we talk about how you are motivated. And if you are motivated, oh, whatever I get, I'll be happy, means you cannot get it again. So the motivation is important to make it grasp. And we talk about the fundamental goals of host governments. The host government, we see that the MNCs like MNC and India, we see that achieving economic growth is one of the aspect, and we talk about minimum maintain price stability. The other one you say it is Charles E. Baby. We talk about improving technical developments, improving worker productivity. These are the fundamental goals of the host government. And when you talk about a criticism for MNCs, why you make the criticism? Is there any loss for the company? Is loss for the government of India or government or the people who are working in foreign countries? Now, when you talk about MNCs, first of all, you have to say costly damages inflated with now when you say MNCs are criticized, particularly in developing countries on the grounds like weapon wages, low wages, exploitation, labor depletion, resource and claim. And we talk about the criticism of the globalization of the content commitments that MNC as a latter of their manifestation of globalization. So what they'll do separately, they believe that multinational companies are the actors, stage being globalization. So they do whatever they want. They produce whatever they produce. And we talk about the other one is MNC maintains objectives in the growth importance. And when you talk about it is singled out. So it may be also be stated that MNC are not only entities that include activities acceptable to the developing countries, but also demonstrate businesses in the reputed developing countries also. So when you make it this one, we have mostly with costly damage, inflated and impurity, and self-interest and primary. So when you talk about the self-interest and primary, so earlier we are argued to that when the interest of MNC clashes with the need of the for the need of the houses recruitment, and we talk about the take the cost take the case of the Coca-Cola serving 7 servings, 5 in countries in subsidiaries and located in Japan, Mexico. And the food companies are there, which enable them the children and surgery cereals that the bad of their health. Now what they'll do? We see that food is served like cereals, Nestle, all this one. These are the MNC company products where this can be given in self-interest for the preliminary and bribes to the bottom line. Now you say that in America, this Adani has given bribe the politician and the government. So like that we can follow many things that you can have small and marginal firms and worst. So another one is local resource seizing the local resources. Next dominance is there. So when you talk about dominancy, every MNC feel that they are in dominancy. And criticism against MNC includes inference and economic objectives, and we can say about the social destructive and environmental degradation and imperialism, MNC and technology, post-country regulations and pushed. So this will stop it here because of 11 o'clock.
Sir, can you please share the important questions for the exam point of view so that
When
we
you have
can
the
emphasize?
When you have the exam?
So from next Monday, I mean, like next after this Monday.
Okay.
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 Sir, from next Monday.
Okay. Okay. So tomorrow we'll share it. Tomorrow I think maybe the last class.
Okay, sir.
I think so because I think six hours only we have to given. So within 6 hours you have to complete. Right. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Last PCP class was got cancelled, but I think you only had taken the class, and I think all other classes got cancelled
Yes.
because of cyclone and flood.
Yes. So we thank you, and we'll see the next class tomorrow at the same time.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.